26 toast. Private living, October 2023. We have our conversation quite simple, quite clear. Because this race is set since the very first day you decided to cross the lines of my rights and guarantees, that indeed are not mine, but part of my history, and for sure it's the history of we all as mankind. We presented the issue to the courts considering the idea as repeated decimal, which is something quite simple to get, and this pattern as audit, you observe that you raised your institutions, you raised the legitimacy and dignity of states, and go in each chair by the decision and self-determination they have, especially insisting has no excuse to be made, but indeed was kept like this, and I just made a reply back, calling with me interest, probably her or sometimes her seriously, or maybe her to death even, without the death even, but seriously hurt anyway. We will check that the idea as consolidation of right starts when something sparkling in the middle of nothing and calm, having the continuity of something until you in a very specific moment have the integration as a right, which is in general a scream you do, or the cry you made that is so loud that the next generation will be, annoyed with this if any kind of things make this crying baby, scream again, because it screams so loud that the earth will shake. And when you raise the right, indeed you try to put in a situation near or below the animal, as without the cognition of our events effort history crossed to achieve this. It's cultural destruction, and you do this against the right, and you do this against the guarantees, you do this against the conformance as civilization, which must do things according with the law. Since the Greek home is like this, but you didn't respect it as it do. You are not violating my right or affecting me, but the right and the guarantee. You perpetrated cultural destruction. If we have time to do something, you probably will do the interference to do not allow this thing be delivered on time, even as a profession with a council of peers that do the regulation of your activity, or a liberal professional that do things by itself. And which is the purpose of this kind of, which is the determinant reason of all things made, considering the financial charge and research sourced in a right under constitutional conformance, including the expectation as negotiable instrument according with the Cesare Vivanti theory on Italy, and the operation as financial operation as factoring, and all cases estimated as minor, and all values by the fake record deed. And we will check, as we could observe at the beach house, that when I do the request of my right as case. Indeed, I will kind of have this situation here projected inside my space as the cases I have a toast. And I will be under constitutional conformance in all situations. And you decide to apply and do things against. And as I told, I talk with the culture or with the architecture. No links with the offender, especially if they are below the animals. And trying to put ourselves at this situation, which is very repulsive. We'll check that you will build and raise a system as function to avoid the paycheck, the financial research, and the financial service to the International Criminal Court, the Antitrust Justice, the OECD, the NATO, the BOG, or whatever. Since against the crime. And you are doing this, trying to push and put ourselves as you, as a criminal, as a creature below the animals. I could, and indeed, we all after expose evidence by proof, acts with facts as notorious circumstance, that you did this by abusive procedure, running the institutional misuse of power against my paycheck, doing the fake record as premise to sustain all mistakes made by you. My dear criminal offender. And by this, we can claim your conviction, not only considering the 4 groups as complaint, which indeed are accusations, as corruption, international corruption, functional corruption, and international corruption leading to trust, but also the defamation or things you do against the individual that is representing the construction of rights and guarantees hurt by you, their intention, and requesting your conviction, indeed you all, by defamation and circumstance that unfortunately you can deny or present an excuse because you perpetrated this in an area without excuse to do this, right? The fool is going to call a crime too. Going like this as functional misuse, organized crime. G20 beyond Brazil, but having in Brazil peers, transnational organized crime. Misuse of defense architecture and system, as we proved at the Security Forum, by the corruption of both, maybe not both having the excuse or not having the excuse for all of them. You are kind of perpetrating paramilitary organizations too and activities. And the blame and the guiltiness go to the states, especially by the misuse of state power perpetrated by very intentional behavior at the chair level, systematically made, combined, integrated as corruption or from corruption through institutional weakness that kept you all inside by the weakness, as we told. See? Anything else I can do? No excuse to have things made or to do not apply all consequences affordable, required inside the limits of the law and the limits as rational expectations, considering the values diverted from public budget Brazil and now others by a criminal groups that got combined as solidary purpose, for instance, as hurt, rights, guarantees, and affecting me, my effort, my privacy. Things that you consider by your imagination a Valentine or something, or a romance or whatever, and you decide to cross lines beyond this architecture, very rational, groom you all as a system. And you all are systemically guilted until the chair level, because it's a system ruled by criminal purpose against one specific right under constitutional conformance protected as guarantee. Right, my dear criminal offenders? Not hidden anymore, but for sure with a big laugh in the face. Right? Like that clowns. You can erase this. Have a great week.